How'd you know we were recording?
People calling me. They kept calling. I ain't trying to talk to nobody. If I get my number changed, man.
You had your number changed?
Yeah. I got tired of everybody keep calling me.
What are they buying you for?
I let the accident.
Oh, shit.
An accident?
Yeah.
A car accident?
No, the accident. The accident I got down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Niggas been here.
It's interesting to me that you would say it's an accident. What makes you say it's an accident?
I mean, maybe he was trying to really, I don't get that person, but that person, you know.
This is where I'm confused. An accident occurred and people start calling you so much. Oh no.
Man.
And your assumption is, is that maybe he was trying to get that person and the person got him.
That's my assumption.
16 people in the queue. It's on. How is 16 people in the queue and 12 out of 60?
I haven't.
17?
I don't know what's going on, really. What was y'all talking about? I don't even in the neighborhood when it was going on.
What are we talking about?
Don't insult me, son. This is real.
Sir, I'm telling you the truth.
No, you ain't. You don't know what I know, man. Don't come out here trying to outguess me. Because if you sit here and stonewall and bull, you will bull your way to prison, son.
But either way, sir, I'm still gonna be end up in handcuffs. Either way. It don't matter.
The truth will come out.
In Memphis, Sergeant Caroline Mason is investigating the shooting death of Christopher Hammond, a.k.a. Disaster. She has a suspect, Darnell Galloway, who was spotted running from the scene moments after the homicide. But Darnell is denying any involvement with the murder.
If you sit here and stonewall and bull, you will bull your way to prison.
Not trying to make it hard for you. Just keeping it real. We can't tell it for you right now. We can't tell it for you.
It's gotta be your words.
What happened?
He said he'd protect us. No matter how you look at it, you've lied to us. John Duarte voted to restrict the woman's right to choose, even here in California.
I really didn't want no drama with you, man. Disaster was bothering me. He was messing with me, trying to make me look like I'm a little punk and stuff.
When did it start?
It started.
Darnell says he first encountered Disaster a month ago.
One day I was just standing outside, and Disaster rolled down one and talked bad to me. Get your punk ass off my corner, young. My corner, boy.
Darnell says that Disaster thought he was intruding on his drug territory.
Disaster got out of the car. Disaster holding his hip, running at me. I ran off. They would made me get something to take.
He says the day of the homicide, he saw Disaster driving down the street.
I'm walking out of her car. As I'm walking up the street, Disaster comes down. He pulled right next to me and stopped. Disaster had placed the bed of his gun. Pointed at me and started shooting at me. I pulled out my protection and I shot him and killed him. And he went on down the street a little bit. He turned around.
Disaster made a U-turn and sped back towards Darnell.
I ran on across the street and got behind a tree. That's when I started concentrating on my aim.
Disaster stepped out of the car and began shooting at Darnell.
I aimed it where I knew I was gonna hit him. When I pulled the trigger, I hit him.
Where you aiming?
So self-defense though. I had two else I was on that.
Disaster had actually placed a plastic bag around his handgun to catch the shell casings. So it seemed like he planned to kill Darnell. I'm going to have to find the evidence to substantiate what he says in his story.
We're going to go down here and see if we can find some casing where he said he was standing when he fired the fatal shot. I think he stands back up here around this tree.
Miami detective Carlos Castellanos is working the murder of Luis Medina. Castellanos believes the victim was shot by someone he'd met on a telephone chat line. He's just been given a name, Mervyn Waddy. Now, he hopes phone records will tie Waddy to the victim.
Okay. Look, we've got communication between, it looks like Waddy and our victim after he's been on that chat line. And there's also communication right around the time of the motel check-in.
The records show calls between the victim and Waddy the day of the homicide.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I think so.
Although Castellanos can prove Waddy knew the victim, he needs more evidence before he can arrest him for the murder.
It's pretty damning evidence if Mr. Waddy is in fact our killer, so we're going to continue to look at it and build upon what we've started.
In the first 48, Detective Carlos Castellanos and his team responded to the homicide of Luis Medina, found shot to death in a motel bathroom. Detectives tracked down the victim's stolen car. The driver told police that he got the vehicle from a man named Mervyn Waddy. Using phone records, detectives discovered that Waddy had been in contact with the victim the day of the murder. The next night,
Homicide Detective Castellanos to help you.
a man who knows Mervyn Waddy comes forward, claiming to have information about the murder.
All right, I'll meet you.
Hey everyone, we're Chris, and guess what? Google Play Games is the official PC platform for Cookie Run Tower of Adventures. There is so much you can do. You can choose your gaming mode, story, raid, with multiplayer. Oh, let's go! And now you're free to choose how you play.
Play on mobile or on PC?
Wait, so I can use keyboard and mouse? Yep.
What about a controller?
Of course.
What about using my mind?
Download and play Cookie Run Tower of Adventures on PC with Google Play Games.
I have to finish writing this paper. I'm swamped.
Just get Grandmother. It's free.
Can it help with...
So I'm hoping he'll show up. He told me he would. I appreciate you doing the right thing, but to do the right thing, you gotta tell me everything.
Sorry, man. I'm gonna tell you. He told me that.
Who told you?
Castellanos now has sufficient evidence to file an arrest warrant on Mervyn Wadi.
Now we need to try to find him. The search begins.
Patrol searches the city for Wadi. But he is nowhere to be found. 3 weeks later,
Homicide Detective Castellanos.
Okay. Great.
Thank you. Mr. Wadi's been taken into custody. And now we'll see what he has to say about it.
in Miami, Detective Carlos Castellanos and his team are working the murder of Luis Medina, found shot in a motel bathroom. A tipster told police that a friend named Mervyn Wadi told him he killed the victim. Now, Castellanos needs to get Wadi to tell him what happened.
We're on our way now to Broward County, where Mr. Wadi was picked up for the arrest warrant. I'm very anxious to hear what he has to say.
Bird, how you doing? Bird, I'm Carlos Castellanos. The incident that we're here about is a homicide, okay? You have a warrant for your arrest for first degree murder, okay? Are you willing to answer any questions that are asked of you? Good, my lawyer will do that. Okay. So, like, what you trying to say is, like, I'm going to answer that. Do you want to talk to me? That's your, you want to talk to me?
chose not to say anything. His silence speaks for itself. I need to tell Mr. Medina's family that we've apprehended Mr. Wadi. Part of knowing may give them in some way closure. It's never really over. That's the pain after the murder. And it stays with people for a long time.
This is the vampire Louis Dulac. All you cowards out there talking about taking a run at me? Hear this now. And hear it plain. Louis.
Memphis Homicide Sergeants Caroline Mason and Tony Mullins are working the murder of Christopher Disaster Hammond, shot to death in broad daylight. The victim was found with a gun in his hand. Their main suspect, Darnell Galloway, admitted he shot the victim, but claimed it was in self-defense. Now, they need to determine if the evidence matches his story.
We found it.
Year-old in a new suit. There's photos of this girl sitting on his lap. Obviously, she's not shown for obvious reasons. She was 17 at the time. Her lawsuit against him says she was gang R-worded. But what's also very important is she was 17. Here's the important part. I think she was in, I believe, let me make sure, Detroit, I believe. And then he was either in New York. And